I'm here with my mom, Jody. When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up and why?
So I remember two things. One, I wanted to be a phone operator. And I think the reason why is because there was a TV show that had phone operators and they got to move like little cords around. And I just thought that was really cool. And then the second thing is I knew I wanted to be a mom.
Oh, that's cute. It's your turn.
When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up and why?
Well, I didn't think much about my career when I was a kid, but I did think I wanted to be a pop star. And now that you say that about wanting to be a mom, I've also wanted to be a mom because I remember being like, I want to be just like my mom.
Aw,
Okay. What was your first job? And tell me a little bit about it.
okay. My first paid job was a cashier at the swimming pool while I had one more course to finish to become a lifeguard.
Okay.
And that was fun because I had a goal. I knew I was the youngest that they hired, but they were in need and they came and found me. It was just kind of like somebody my parents knew who ran the swimming pool and literally knocked on my door. I was like, hey, if you can start in 1 hour, you've got a job because we know you're close to becoming a lifeguard and that's really what we need, but we'll just have you work in the front office at first. So that was my first paid job. Before then, I did have a volunteer job for our church and it was a waitress.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. What do you want to do after college?
Well, I want to go to grad school and keep pursuing my career in psychology. Um, I also still want to be a mom and start a family as well. So,
Okay. Uh, why do you say that? I don't know if that's applicable, but
yeah. Well, for psych, I kind of have to go to grad school if I want to pursue a career in the field. And I'm interested in doing counseling. Um, and yeah, I just want to be a mom because I love my mom so much. Just makes me want to be a mom too.
okay.
Tell me a little about some of the other jobs you've had in your life. Which one was the best and why?
Okay. Well, I I guess I grew my lifeguarding career
Mhm.
by being a instructor. So I taught all different levels of swimming, and even from like someone who had a fear of taking a shower, helping them overcome that fear,
Mhm.
to training people to be lifeguards. So I did that all through high school and college. Um, so kind of the same job, but one with progression, I guess I would say. And then my first career out of college was um, at Nike in their home office doing administrative work. But then I quickly got promoted to a number cruncher,
Hmm.
which wasn't something I ever really thought of or that I was necessarily gifted in, but it was just an opportunity because it was a growing company and I had a certain skill set and they knew I would work hard. So I learned something that I didn't know that much about in terms of numbers and um, working with different sets of people, I guess I would say, different types of people.
Mhm.
That was fun. And then I guess I did work shortly in a church setting before I started my family. And that was a stretch, even though it was just an administrative role, it was a stretch because it was a church. So I would have people like call and start telling me their problems and can you please pray for me? And I came from this Nike business world and it was like, whoa, I'm going to pray for someone now. So that was different. So it was a stretch in an entirely different way. And then I was mom for a long, long time, raising kids, which was whole
Still,
different, but definitely the most gratifying and my favorite job ever. And now I'm kind of, oh, and I did the hospital work. That was a nice blend because it was taking care of people in nonprofit,
mhm.
yeah, business skills. So it was kind of that mix from business and home. Um, and then now I have my job where I'm managing a group of people and providing customer service in a home office setting in women's fashion. So that's fun.
It's fun. You didn't mention the garage job either.
Oh, that was very short. You may not know that.
I don't know why
But
I
well,
always
I think it's significant to you because I went back to work.
Mm,
Out in your mind, like, oh, mom's going back to work.
yeah.
But I only did that job for 3 months. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was just kind of a scheduling customer service type job, I guess.
Okay. And which one is your favorite? Oh, you said being a mom.
Oh, being a mom, hands down.
Okay.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Okay. Um, if you could have any job, what would it be and why?
I don't know. I think it would be cool to work in an animal shelter. I,
Oh,
I just thought of that because I saw Biggie in the background.
yeah.
But I think it would be cool to work with animals in some way. I also
Hmm.
just I want to be a mom, really. And I feel like I'm kind of pursuing the job that I want otherwise too. Like
Hmm.
I think I've picked something that I'm passionate about and I'm excited for it. So if I had to pick a job, it's that. That's the job I picked.
Yeah. And you're getting in that area too, just listening to you talk to people and how you communicate. So I think that's good. And those skills will also help you be a good mom.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Is it your turn?
How has your sense of calling changed during your life and why do you think so?
Um, I remember when I was out of college, I didn't really think about it pre-college and through college. I was just working to pay expenses, and get through college.
Mhm.
But the big step that you're coming up on, although grad school would change it a little bit for you, when you hit the real world going, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And so I landed like really a dream job, or at least it worked into be a dream job, but definitely in a dream company and an exciting field and everything at Nike. But my, I constantly thought, well, what is God's will for my life? What is God's will for my life? On and on.
Mhm.
Um, Even when I worked at the church, I thought that was frustrating for me because I wasn't challenged career wise, but I was stretched in other ways, like I said, spiritually or just some other ways. But I still was like, what is God's will for my life? And when we started our family, is when I really felt that sense of peace and contentment of this is my calling in life. This is it. And I wasn't somebody who thought, oh, I really need to work and have my family and I'm bored. Like you'll often hear people, and I think people are different. I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying that never happened to me where I thought, oh, I'm just missing out on my adult interaction or just different things you hear about people who stay home full time with their kids. Never, ever, ever, ever. And when I went back to work, it was out of necessity financially. not that I was missing something in my life, because I feel like even with all of you kids still in your 20s, it could still be a full-time job.
Mhm.
I mean, just it's just a passion that I have and an investment. And I knew the whole time this is such a small little window of time
Mhm.
that I just wanted to make the most of it. And it was really the most gratifying. And that was my calling.
Mm. Wow.
Okay. Do you feel called to a certain career, and why or why not?
I I don't think that I feel called to a certain career necessarily. I think what I more so feel called to is to help people in some way or another. And so that's kind of impacted my decision to pursue a career in psychology. But I just want to be able to use those skills to help people in need and people that are struggling. I feel like that's my calling career wise. Um, so yes and no, kind of.
I think that is beautiful. And I think that that puts you about 30 years ahead of my timeline. So, yay, you.
Thanks, babe.
if if you oh, it's you.
Oh, if you had a time machine, what's something you would tell your past self 20 years ago and why?
Oh, wow. 20 years ago. Okay. So 20 years ago, I'm getting my math is really sharp right now. I was like, I had you when you were 2 years old, right? Um, right? I did that math right.
Well, yeah, I was 2 years old because yeah, that's right.
Okay. Mm, that is a hard question.
Your last kid was 2 years old. It's interesting.
I don't know what to say with that, because I'm not saying, I mean, I could have four, five, if you count dad, people sit here and go, oh, yeah, you definitely weren't perfect. So I don't say this because I think, oh, I did everything perfect. I don't mean that. But there's one thing, and that is I did not take for granted that I was privileged to stay home with my family and to take care of my family. Um, I also did not really like how a lot of people, and especially with social media, you'll see like you'll hear about like women who push themselves or want to be better or more organized in the home or this or that. I just didn't do that either.
Mhm.
Just knew like the time was what mattered. Like if we were sitting around doing a project for school, I mean, you were only two, but like your siblings were already in school. Um, like I didn't care that it was all over my dining room table and we made a mess. That just didn't, I mean, and I think you would agree with that.
Yeah,
That just didn't, that didn't matter to me.
yeah,
Um, and it was the same thing with dad. Like he didn't get, he's not that guy that came home from work and was strung out that dinner wasn't ready
yeah,
or the house was a mess, or we just didn't live like that.
yeah,
And for that, I'm grateful, because I do think some people put those pressures on themselves
yeah.
and I just didn't. And I guess the downside of that is maybe we could have been more structured,
Mhm.
but that just wasn't important to me, because I knew, and my mom told me, and even though she told me I knew it anyway, they're only small for such a short period of time, and just take it in and enjoy it.
Mhm.
You know, the snuggling, the cuddling, the watching a movie together, the sharing in whatever the interests were. Like if it was you with your crafting when you were a little bit older, or, all the interests that Harrison had,
Yeah. Yeah.
or even Christian with his one special little Poe animal, or, and Nick with the ball, or, whatever it was. So I don't really have a good answer for that. I mean,
I think that was a good answer.
okay, if you had a time machine, what is something you would ask your future self in 20 years? So you'll be 42, and why?
42.
Mm,
Um, that's hard too.
what's something you would ask yourself?
No. I guess I would just want to know if I'm happy and if everyone around me is happy and if I'm on the right path. I don't um, I don't have a specific thing that I would want to know. I guess I would just want to, I more so rather than asking myself something, I would just want to like see how my life kind of turned out. Like getting a little inside scoop to kind of reassure me that because being this age can be stressful, not
Mhm,
knowing what the future holds and if you're making the right decision. And
mhm.
so I would just like some reassurance that it's gonna be okay and you're gonna figure it out. Yes.
Okay. The last two questions were rough.
Yeah, those ones are hard. But thank you very much for being a part of my interview.
Oh, you are so welcome. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, I think that's it. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Okay.